promotion. Hey, adversity is a privilege here. People talk about that all the time. It truly is. This moment is incredible.
Alexander Volkanovski, with that performance at UFC 314, confirmed one thing that is certain. He's definitely in the top two of the all-time featherweights in MMA, if not the featherweight GOAT. And he's definitely one of the best mixed martial artists on this planet of all time. Definitely in the top 10 for me. But is that news better for the UFC Featherweight Division? Is Volkanovski being champion again good for the featherweight division? Alex Volkanovski is an absolute legend in and off the cage. Inside the cage, he's an absolute animal, a fighter that gives it his all in all his fights, and is well rounded. He can take you down, ground and pound you. In the striking, he's pretty awesome. And off the cage, he's respectful, says the right things, doesn't do cheap shenanigans like other fighters, and he's an absolute role model for any fighter who's aspiring to be a champion. But Alexander Volkanovski is definitely a future Hall of Famer. So don't get me wrong that him being the featherweight champion is bad for the division in that way, in a promotional sense. No. But him being the champion doesn't really refresh the division. Now hear me out. Every champion that has dominated the divisions in UFC has had a shelf life, right? Apart from John Jones, who never lost his title in the traditional way, but was stripped of his title twice. I think twice, yeah. Even he was stripped of the title twice, and there were newer champions coming in. There was Daniel Cormier, there was Anthony Johnson coming in. And that's why I think when Volkanovski lost against Ilia Topuria, it was kind of resetting the cycle, finding newer talents in the featherweight, finding newer stars in the featherweight division. And now with Alexander Volkanovski being back at the helm the way he did it, it doesn't seem that he's going to lose his title in the next fight or in the coming fights. Now with Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria moving to lightweight divisions, you have Diego Lopes, who will be number one. You have Movsar Evloev, hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, who probably will be number two ranked. You have Yair Rodriguez, Arnold Allen, Brian Ortega, Leron Murphy. None of these fighters, I don't see them beating Volkanovski the way he showed up for this fight. He was absolutely shredded. It was the old Volkanovski fighting against Diego Lopes. He dominated him in every round, let's be honest. The second round, Diego Lopes did get a knockdown at the end, but till then, till the knockdown, even in the second round, Alexander Volkanovski was getting the better of him. In the fourth round, which Diego Lopes arguably won, and I think he won that round, was only because his hand, the uppercut, grazed his eye and Alexander Volkanovski lost his sight. Other than that, it wasn't that it was a complete domination in the fourth round as well. Alex Volkanovski was controlling the distance, was getting the better in the counter-attacks. Until it became a brawl, it wasn't even close for Diego Lopes. Now, Movsar Evloev is again a great wrestler, comes from Russia, not from Dagestan, but has a great wrestling background. He was able to, out-wrestle Aljamain Sterling. It was a close fight, but he was the winner, unanimous winner of that fight. And probably the next in line to face Volkanovski. But I don't see him also outmaneuvering Volkanovski. In the first fight against Islam, Volkanovski was able to hold his own against Islam's wrestling. He was able to counter Islam Makhachev's wrestling. The only way that Islam won that fight was that his stand-up game was so strong that he could stand up with Volkanovski and get the better of him. If you see that fight, it was only the fourth round that Islam Makhachev held him down and kept him there. For the rest of the rounds, yes, he was able to take him down, but he wasn't really able to control him on the ground or really able to, get a submission going. I don't see Movsar Evloev doing that to Volkanovski. Maybe a round or two that he controls him on the ground, but for 5 rounds against this Volkanovski, not going to happen. Now, there have been champions and in the other division, when I'm talking about resetting the division or refreshing the division, like Israel Adesanya or Kamaru Usman. Now, when Israel Adesanya finally lost his title to Alex Pereira and then regained it immediately in the rematch, it was not a real dominant performance that got him the victory. It was more about Alex dominating, Alex building. When I was watching it live, I thought Alex might get the knockout in the second round until, of course, Israel Adesanya played possum and got that 1-2 and that epic knockout. But it wasn't that Izzy was dominating all the 2 rounds that happened. In the first round, I think he definitely lost on the scorecards. The second round also, Alex was getting his leg kicks, was chopping Izzy's legs. He was in trouble. If he wouldn't have gotten that 1-2, played possum and gotten that 1-2, I don't think Israel Adesanya would have won that match. Let's look at middleweight. Now you have Dricus du Plessis, you have Hamzat Chimaev, Nasiruddin Imavov. You also had Sean Strickland beat Israel Adesanya. So suddenly there were a lot of competitors. In the welterweight division, there are so many contenders. There are Shavkat Rakhmonov, Sean Brady. Of course, you have Jack Della Maddalena, who is, of course, fighting Bilal Muhammad for the title. You have Buckley, you have Ian Machado Gary, you have Carlos Prates, who's coming up. In the featherweight division right now with Volkanovski winning the way that he did, getting the confidence and now being the champion, I don't see a lot of competitors going up against Volkanovski and winning. Maybe John Silva, but he's kind of unpredictable. He's not faced an elite fighter and probably 2 fights away from facing Volkanovski if that is what the UFC wants him to do. UFC can just bump him up and make him fight Volkanovski, but I don't think that's going to happen. But apart from that, you have Diego Lopes, who's lost to Volkanovski. You have Evloev, who probably will face Volkanovski, but I don't think he'll defeat him. You have Yair Rodriguez again, who's faced Volkanovski, is not going to get an immediate title shot. Probably he'll face Diego Lopes because of their tiff at the press conference. You have Leron Murphy, who's interesting. He keeps the distance, manages the distance, has a good takedown defense. You have Aljamain Sterling, who has a great ground game, great experience. He can go up against Volkanovski, but all of these in the top 10 don't seem like they are going to dethrone Volkanovski. I think Volkanovski is going to be there at least till the end of the year and probably till the end of next year. And if they don't defeat Volkanovski, the featherweight division is again back to square one, where it was 2 years ago when Volkanovski was the champion. He's not a bad champion. He's a legendary champion. He's a legend of the sport. But going back to where the division was, is it really evolving? Is it really taking the division forward? And with 2 fighters, Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria, moving to lightweight and rejigging that division, amping up that division, does it really leave featherweight division weaker in that terms? Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about the UFC featherweight division and Alexander Volkanovski being the champion again. Till then, the armchair fighter rests.